Well, Pacelli and Bloom, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Nate Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew. Talking Transformers toys, they twist and they turn. Singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get cold. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
I like to think so. I like to think so. Well, hello, everyone.
Excuse me. Whose stream is this? I'm the one that says hello first.
Well, then
hello,
do
everyone.
it.
I did it better, didn't I?
Now, you need to do it like this, gentlemen. Good evening. How are you all tonight?
Yeah, she did it better. Maybe we should just let her do it, yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Geeky Geezers. We were talking about geeky things before the stream because we got a humdinger coming up this Friday.
Yeah.
We're
getting like a hardcore geek this
will be a hardcore geek stream this Friday because it'll be about like our favorite science fiction moment. Should I just spoil it?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's our favorite science fiction moments are top 10 of the 1970s.
I don't think that's spoiling it. That's literally just telling them what it's about.
But I can tell you what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome everybody to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli, and this is our other co-host, my other co-host, the Netter of Netters Network, also known as the Geezette.
The Geezette.
I guess that doesn't sound so bad.
No, it's established now. It is.
It's like, and I'm the one and only Geezette.
Yeah. The only one known as the Geezette.
But here we are. I'm kind of curious. What do you think is the biggest story tonight?
The biggest story?
What was the one that stood out to you? Because I know what mine is.
The one I'm probably going to have the most to say about is the Grace Randolph one.
Okay,
but the Trump BBC one might be kind of interesting too.
That's fine. You're wrong on both, but that's okay.
Okay, there you go. Fine.
Those are both actually the BBC one. I don't typically get into the weeds of like current events, but that's just bad. That's really bad.
I've kind of dug into the weeds on this, and people probably are not going to like what I have to say about it.
All right, well, we're going to get there. If it's okay, Okay, we'll get to it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Lynn Green.
On all 3 channels. Thank you so much, Lynn. Super appreciate it.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm not in StreamYard. Okay, I was on my YouTube channel. All right, thank you, Lynn Green. And let's see here. Now we go to Big Al of Big Al Presents. Have a great stream, you geezers. Wishing everyone a happy week again. I hope so. I got a major assignment for a week from now.
Oh, do you?
I'll be busy.
Fair enough.
It's okay. I'll be all right. Last call membership drive. Netters reminding. On Troy's channel, $1.99 a month gives members 4 movies a month. Where else are you gonna get a deal like that? If you're so inclined, please consider joining the next level up. What was the vote this week? Just out of curiosity.
I didn't put up a vote because
that's right, because it's our yearly tradition.
This week, I'm opening up the members' night at the movies to the general public. So that everyone can suffer with us as we watch the Star Wars Holiday Special, because tomorrow is Life Day, November 17th. So,
Life Day.
Day
that changed fandom forever.
In more ways than I think people realize, actually. I've got a video coming out very shortly that I'm gonna be at least hinting at some of that, and then I might do a follow-up video that goes a little bit deeper into it.
Usarnji, welcome.
Thank you for the deleted scenes raid. Absolutely.
Yes, he had some interesting It's funny, he touched on 2 topics I didn't touch on. We didn't touch on tonight. That's good. The Oscar Isaac, angry at Disney, not going back to Star Wars because of the Jimmy Kimmel thing, which I did an eye roll at. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And then also the Sydney Sweeney Ruby Rose thing because of that movie she was in. I'm like, what is going on? I feel like Sydney Sweeney, they're trying to cancel her, they've tried to cancel Henry Cavill for not doing anything. They just don't like her. That's what I've come to the conclusion. They like Cavill didn't do anything to get himself canceled, but I still felt like they were still targeting him. Do you understand? It was
but the fact is she's doing just fine. She even if one movie doesn't do so well, she's doing just fine.
Yes. Hey, Netters, Troy, and Agent Boomer. If the movie doesn't do well, it's just like every other Hollywood actor, because nothing's doing well these days, it seems.
True.
Lester, Skeptic, Tank, Obsessions, welcome. Oh, Betamax. Yeah, Betamax, man. The superior tape format.
Yep. It actually was. From a technical standpoint, it actually was better in most regards.
How do people go with VHS? Old recording on it?
You went out on us, Boomer. What were you saying about VHS?
Could it hold more information?
Yeah, Beta did hold more information, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember that it used more video heads, so it actually had a higher resolution in what it held. Not to mention that they were at least as long in playtime as the VHS, but they were smaller in space, so they didn't take up as much room.
Now, could the beta tapes do what the VHS tapes did, where you could set them for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours?
I think so. Pretty sure, yeah.
I bet if they had called it Alphamax, it would have succeeded.
No, nowadays that would be true. I don't think back then that was.
I don't think they knew what that was. Okay. Bobby says, before my time, geezers. Yes, well, you missed out.
That's the idea.
You missed out.
That is the whole idea. That is why we do what we do. So that you can get a little bit of a history lesson to understand why things are the way they are now. You oftentimes have to look to the past.
All right. Well, congratulations. You got 20 new subs, Bobby Blankenship. Congratulations for
there you go.
1,000 views. Jessica Hardo, welcome. Troy, I'm happy because it's payday and I'm off Monday and Tuesday. That's always good. You should treat yourself to something nice. Maybe go down to Dairy Queen, get yourself a banana split. Huh? What do you think?
That's that is absolutely the good philosophy. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for others. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And everything will be good.
As Dale Cooper said, he'd like to give himself a present every day. Maybe a nap, maybe a slice of cherry pie. Something he could give himself to. Because it wasn't just about being nice to others. You got to treat yourself nice too, sometimes too.
Yeah, a little slice of Audrey Horne. Either way, however.
Audrey Horne.
Oh, I just got the stink eye.
Henry Cavill was targeted for his height, and Sydney Sweeney was targeted for her figure. Okay, that was a good way of
I
putting
thought
that.
he was going to say Henry Cavill got canceled for his height, and Sydney Sweeney got canceled for her climbing.
I know. Can you imagine the two of them got together and had children? They would conquer the world anyway.
They would. They absolutely would. You're right.
A bacon cheeseburger sounds good too. Yeah, Jesse Guajardo. That's funny. That Batman, the
yeah.
Brave and the Bold. I think Superman had ordered like a bacon cheeseburger and a milkshake, and he said, "When I talk about fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, this is what I really mean." You know, like you say, we're fighting for America.
Yeah.
But yeah. But going to I guess bring up our presentation. If you would.
Let's do that.
And we're going to get into the good old days, and this is where I bore Troy and Netter, because I'm going to talk about a game console I'd been threatening to talk about for a long time, and I'm just going to do a deep dive in. I will try not to spend too much time on it. I will talk about the greatest game console Nintendo ever produced. Yes, I'm talking about the GameCube. I don't want to hear you Super Nintendo people in the chat. It's the GameCube.
I don't know from Super Nintendo, but I am going to say GameCube. Is that the one where if you win a game on it, you open up a portal to hell and the Cenobites come out or something like that?
No.
Okay, that's a bit of a deep dive.
But to be fair, there's a game on it called Eternal Darkness, which might involve you solving puzzles and unleashing Lovecraftian horrors and stuff. So I think that was a thing. So.
Hurrah! Yeah, I like that.
Virtual Boy. Don't bring up Virtual Boy, Bobby. Please. Oh, that was the big Nintendo reveal for we're going to bring Virtual Console games to Switch. Virtual Boy games to Switch 2Y. I saw that demoed at I think it was what was it? Was it an Office Depot of all places? I think they had a sample unit, and I went in there and tried it out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying this thing. That would be the not good old days. Would be Virtual Boy. We're not going to talk. That was Nintendo's first huge flop. That was their attempt at making a sort of a virtual reality system before.
I do feel that there was a lot of consoles and
in the 90s,
that really were trying to push virtual reality before it was quite there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Back in the 90s, maybe starting a little bit in the 80s, we started to see some elements of virtual reality being floated. And sometimes, most of the time, I would say even, it was at, how do I describe it? I want to say arcades, but they weren't arcades. Here we have, in Chicago, we have a Navy Pier that did have arcades, but they had like
a special room.
BattleTech. They had BattleTech. They had laser tag, stuff like that. That's not really arcade. That was more like attractions, you know. And those were, you know, big installation type things that required a lot of resources. That wasn't the kind of thing you could buy something in. Well, maybe a little bit laser tag to some degree, but the immersive environment, that wasn't something you could do on your own in your home. You know,
no,
the technology just wasn't there. We didn't have the 3D goggles and all the real high definition graphics that they have these days. You know, it was just different, you know.
Yeah. And then, well, to be fair, I think they're doing more with that stuff now, because I know Sony has a virtual reality headset you can buy for PlayStation, which is certain games actually lend themselves to it too, like Resident Evil.
Right, but the graphics now are so realistic. They're not like these, you know.
Oh, yes. It's not like the
polygon-y things, you know?
Like something out of the mind's eye, but not even as good back in the day. Anyway, here we have the Nintendo GameCube. This released fall of 2001. America was still reeling from a certain day on September 11th. And it was kind of a weird time. And but this came out around the same time as the Xbox, the original Microsoft Xbox, and as the main competition for the PlayStation 2, Sega had finally dropped the Dreamcast out of the running. They said, okay, we're done. We're going to go third party. We're not going to be a console manufacturer anymore. And there's always a thing with gaming how there's always three. There seem to always be three consoles or home entertainment centers at a time. If you go back to the 8-bit generation, it was Atari 7800, Sega Master System, and of course the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So there's always three whenever these fights are going on. Sometimes more, but I always usually think of three. And we're going to talk about something later that's a big deal in the current console war. But anyway, this is the GameCube. Came out. They stopped calling systems with bits. Like Nintendo 64, that was 64-bit. PlayStation was 32-bit. Super Nintendo 16-bit. This is, I think, technically a 128-bit system, but by that point, they just gave up calling things like that. But this is the GameCube. As you can see, it looks like a purple lunchbox. As many,
It does.
yeah, you think that's funny? Thank you. As many in the gaming press would often deride. You want to know why Nintendo fans get it so obsessive and defensive nowadays? I think it starts here because, man, if you were a GameCube owner, it was bashed incessantly by people that own the PlayStation, the Xbox, by people in the gaming press who really wanted Nintendo to knock it off with consoles and go third party. But I bought a GameCube because I was originally going to go with the Dreamcast, oddly enough, but then Sega bowed out. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go with Nintendo again. And I love this machine. Came out in two colors, purple and black. I got purple because I figured what looks most like a children's toy. Has a handle on the back if you want to. It's actually the most portable of all three of those consoles. And it actually looked like a cube. And games were on DVDs, but they were mini DVDs because, as always, Nintendo was obsessed with piracy. So that kind of cost this generation, though, because some third parties, we don't want to deal with the mini DVD format. But enough did, though. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yes, I know about this. Hold on. Let's bring this up. Okay. Don't try to tell me, Jesse. Okay, Agent Moore, the GameCube had accessory that could allow you to add some screen, an adapter to play your Game Boy games, not your DS, your regular Game Boy games you could play, and an internet connection. The internet connection adapter could only work with one game, and that was Phantasy Star Online, as memory serves. So nobody bought it. Nintendo really wasn't ready to jump into the online space yet, and they struggled for years because they're just not very good at.
A little behind the curve on that one, huh?
Yeah, they didn't do the whole online gameplay thing. The big one behind that generation, oddly enough, was Xbox. They were really pushing the whole online Xbox Live thing. But no, the GameCube, what it had was games. I buy these consoles for games, and yeah, it was cool that you had an adapter that could play Game Boy games also. But let's talk about the GameCube games. I'm going to try to explain to you what sold me. I sort of picked my top 20 here. All right, so we're going to get into it. And these are sort of in the order of release, basically. We have Luigi's Mansion. This is a launch title. Oddly enough, we didn't get a Mario game as a launch title. People were kind of flummoxed. Instead, we get a Luigi game, and he is in a haunted house where he has to suck ghosts up in this fancy device made, I think, by Professor Egad. I think that was his name. And
Professor Egad invented a ghost-sucking device.
Yes.
To trap ghosts.
Yes.
Okay, I see where this is going.
You think it's like Ghostbusters? Oddly enough, they didn't get sued by Sony anyway. But yeah, and you go around and you run into
probably
these
because
goofy ghosts.
Sony had already dealt with the whole Ghostbusters, because they actually got sued over the name and the rights of Ghostbusters. We talked about that before. So
anyway, so here we go. But this was sort of like, I don't want to say it's almost like a children's version of Resident Evil, if I'm being honest here.
I suppose, yeah.
It's like you're going around, like you shake things in the room. Like the idea too is that you have to figure out a way to ferret the ghosts out. Like you'll shake a chair, or you'll shake like you open up a closet door, then the ghosts pop out, and they act like the ghosts from Ghostbusters. They're goofy looking, like this guy has a mustache, as you can see. And you have to suck them up with your vacuum cleaner. And there's even an orange version of the GameCube. I'm sorry, I got to interrupt again. I keep doing this. I was mad. It was called Color Spice, and it was never released in North America. I wanted the orange console. That was the one I wanted. But no, as usual, Japan gets the best stuff. Let's
Yeah,
move
we'll
on.
get into that more today too.
Super Monkey Ball. This is a Sega-developed game. Might have even been in arcades, but it got its first port on the GameCube, where you play these monkeys inside these hamster balls, trying to collect all the bananas on these weird fields in 3D. It's almost like a 3D version of Marble Madness. If you remember that old Midway arcade game. That's
Yeah.
what it reminded me of. And you got to collect the bananas, and in this version of the game, they're dull bananas.
Oh, okay. So there was brand recognition.
There was some branding in here, yes. These were later ported to the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, but the GameCube version are still considered the best. In fact, they recently remade these on modern consoles, and they said they screwed them up. They didn't get the physics right. This is a very physics-based, weird, like, platform, but you're stuck in a ball, and you don't want to fall off, and, like, the courses get twisty and turny, sort of like mini golf, how things get forward. It was fun. Anyway, though, but moving
Imagine
on
that,
to,
making fun games.
look at this. Recognize that.
Yeah, that's Star Wars, all right.
Okay, yeah. I sometimes feel these screenshots don't really do justice to how the games actually look. The GameCube games had a very clean look to them. This is, of course, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, which is made by the great German developer Factor 5. Originally, the Rogue Squadron games were sort of a takeoff on the X-Wing games, where Factor 5 said, well, we're going to make these more about land-based combat since the X-Wing games were about in-space combat. But then people complain of the first game, we want to be going up against Star Destroyers, so in the sequel, okay, we'll set levels in space. You get to pick all sorts of different vehicles. I'm not sure which ship this is. That's not a Y-Wing, is it? There are all sorts of ships you could use in the game. Of course, the main characters you play
That is a B-Wing.
B-Wing, okay.
So, technically, a bomber.
Yeah. Unlike the really awful bomber in Last Jedi, anyway. But,
Well, yeah.
But I feel like I'm
talk about physics not working the way they're supposed to.
I think later on some people say, "Oh, they had magnets on them. That's how they." This is just just stop. But this was really cool. And you basically, the main characters in this game were Luke Skywalker and Wedge Antilles.
Yes, Wedge Antilles.
Yes, that's who you would play as in this game.
A hero with no Jedi powers, no laser sword, just the hotshot pilot that survived every battle.
Yeah, and this game takes place between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. That's the timeline of this.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the first level is you going up against the Death Star and blowing up the Death Star. And then there are even bonus missions in here. So
this really is like X-Wing and what was the other one? Rebel?
TIE Fighter. Rebel
Assault.
Yeah. It's kind of in the same vein of those other LucasArts games.
Yeah.
And what was cool is you would get certain bonus levels in this game, too. Like, one of the bonus levels in this game is you get to play as Darth Vader and you get to bomb the Yavin bases.
Nice.
To get revenge on the escaping rebels, basically. So there's all sorts of stuff.
They had it coming. They had it coming.
But really, really well done LucasArts game. I always had the impression that LucasArts would make these games and then say who's interested in publishing them, and of course Nintendo snatched this up as a launch title. Well, it wasn't quite at launch, but it was before Christmas. And of course, Super Smash Bros. Melee still played to this day. This is the in the Nintendo series where Nintendo characters beat the crap out of each other. and it's still going strong.
That sounds like fun.
Well, the new games, they've added characters from all other kinds of video game franchises, like Pac-Man shows up in future ones, and Mega Man and Sonic the Hedgehog. So it's not just the Nintendo characters, but here we have Mario versus Donkey Kong, but you run into like Samus from Metroid or Link from Zelda or Kirby, all sorts of things, and it's a good one. It's a classic GameCube game, and still holds up well. Here we have Pikmin. It's kind of hard to see on the screen. If you see, there are these little vegetable people on the bottom here. You play an astronaut that crash landed on a planet, and you use the Pikmin to do jobs for you. You pull them out of the ground, and they obey you, sort of like lemmings in the game Lemmings. And you get to have them, like you need them to go find a battery or attack a monster, and you're the astronaut, kind of commanding them to do what you want them to do. And the planet you crash land on, it's kind of interesting because it's almost like an Earth-like planet because you see things like batteries or soda cans lying around because you're like really small, but you see these large objects and things. So like
is
you're a tiny astronaut.
Is it Earth that they're on?
I don't think they ever explained that properly. I don't think it is, but maybe I should do research on that. But I never got too far in this, but it was a lot of good fun. So moving on to, and that was an original Nintendo-made franchise. This is Resident Evil Remake.
Wow.
Look at those graphics. This is back in 2002. That looks pretty good, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
That's in-game. That's in-game. That's what the character looks like in-game. They had rendered backgrounds. I was a big fan of Resident Evil on the PlayStation, and Nintendo paid Capcom big money to get a Resident Evil exclusive games on their system for the next gen, which I'll go on a rant about later, because they kind of betrayed Nintendo at the end anyway. But played this on my friend's Game Boy. What was it, Pikmin? Okay. All right, moving on to, this is Eternal Darkness. This was kind of a holdover from the Nintendo 64. Nintendo was developing their own survival horror series. This was more of a Lovecraftian style story rather than the B-movie tropes of Resident Evil. But you play as different characters across various time periods. Like when you start out as this blonde character that's inheriting this house where someone was murdered. I think her dad or her grandfather or something, and you're doing research, and then you find out all throughout history people have been like looking into these elder god things, and it starts out where you're playing a Roman centurion. Then I think you go into Thailand and play a woman in Thailand, like in the 4th century. Like it keeps going over different time periods, and different characters revealed, sort of like in Hellraiser, how they did the different periods in Hellraiser 4, of people encountering the same thing. So it was neat. Okay, I'm moving on.
Okay.
I'm not. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Wow, this looks cool.
This got kind of the critics at the time. They weren't as kind to this game. They said the creatures control all stiff, and I'm like, you're controlling giant monsters. They're not going to walk like people.
Right. Exactly.
They're not going to have agile. They're not going to be agile.
I think that was the whole idea. It's
Yes.
supposed to be a little lumbering, a little bit slow moving. Yeah.
Okay, this was wonderful. This was put out, I think, by whoever was calling themselves Atari at the moment, at this time, and it's neat because the game starts out and you see I hear a pounding in the background, and then like the manhole jumps up, and like you hear like noises. Then you see this Japanese guy looks up and he says Godzilla, and he points to the air. And the plot of this game is you have a bunch of aliens from Planet X, and they said, we have put mind-controlled rays over all of your monsters, and they now do our bidding. Not even your strongest monster can break free of our mind control and stop the others. And that was the joke, because obviously you picked one of the monsters, and you're the one that broke the mind control, right? You fight the other monsters, right? Yeah. So, because they had to control the monsters to take over the Earth. Different fighting stages, so you could destroy like airplanes trying to hit you. You have to destroy the other monster. And you get to pick, and they're all in different cities from around the world. Like they're cities in Japan, but they're also cities in Europe. Like I used to love fighting in London because, man, those old houses crumble. And my favorite American city was Seattle, because I would always try to knock down the Space Needle, and that's hard to knock down in the game.
Is it?
Yes, you kind of have to throw the other creature into it, because the way it's structured, it's actually hard to knock down. And like the other buildings is kind of crumble, but this, for some reason, the Space Needle stays put longer than the others. So I would make it my mission to destroy that. And of course, as you play the game, you have to build up the what is it? What comes out of Godzilla's mouth? A heat ray or something?
The atomic breath or whatever.
It's like a charge. You understand? Like it has to build up, and then you can let it loose. Do you understand? So
sure.
Yeah. But it was neat. Grace Randolph. Yeah, we'll be talking about her in a little while. But
Yeah.
let's just get through these. Super Mario Sunshine, kind of the black sheep of the 3D Mario games, but it's kind of neat. Again, we have Professor Egad shows up again, and Mario gets accused of dumping all sorts of nasty paint over this island resort that he and the rest of the characters are going on a vacation to. So he is ordered by the court to clean it up with this special hose fluxo thing, whatever is attached to his back. So it was like water-based physics. Like you had to rinse off all the paint and stuff. And it's interesting. It's an interesting game. I know some people don't care for this one, but I don't know. I think it's good enough to mention. Let's move on. Main reason why they complain about the Godzilla game is best described by Monster Island Building review of those games. Interesting. I'll look for that. Moving on to the Animal Crossing, at least in North America, outside of Japan, Animal Crossing first shows up on the Nintendo GameCube, which is now the obsession. You play a human that moves into a town of anthropomorphic animals, and you have to make conversation, and the nice raccoon that owns the company store gives you a house and then says you owe him like 50,000 bells or whatever that's the currency on the island, and it's basically Stars
Or you
Hollow.
could just bring him an artificial arm.
Funny, man. No, it's basically Stars Hollow, the video game. You know, Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're playing a video game version of Gilmore Girls. That's what it reminded me of. And all these different animals have different quirky personalities. Some of them would get on my last nerve, actually, but it's what they would call now a cozy game. It's like one of the earlier examples of that, but it was fun. Like for instance, at night you can do things at night too. Like a drunken seagull washes up on the shore and talks to you, all burping and stuff, and it's yeah. Anyway, it was cute. Okay, moving on to Metroid Prime. I've talked about Metroid Prime before, so I'm not going to spend too much time. But this was our Metroid came back on the GameCube. This time as a first-person exploration game, and it was cool. And if you had the Game Boy version of Metroid Fusion and you beat Metroid Fusion, you could unlock the original NES Metroid by hooking your Game Boy up to your GameCube, and it would unlock the original NES Metroid. They could have just given it to us, but they want to make sure you buy everything, don't they?
Right. Got to catch them all, right?
At least they were both great games, though. But yeah. Moving on to The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Oh, boy. This was the Legend of Zelda game that looked like a cartoon. They call this Toon Link. When they premiered this at E3, the crowd booed. They were angry about this game. They did not like this cartoony Link because they were hoping for like a realistic Zelda game. In fact, Lord of the Rings had just come out, so high fantasy was now becoming in vogue. So now we get our big 3D Zelda game, and it's cartoony. People were mad.
I'm on a quest to save my girlfriend.
Right.
Okay. To be fair, in this game, he's on a quest to save his sister that gets kidnapped anyway. But it's still Zelda canon, and it's a good game regardless. They use cell shading in it. Cell shading?
Oh, yeah.
To make it look like a cartoon.
I mean, nobody at Disney knows what that is anymore, but yes, I know what it is.
Anyway, yes. Moving on to Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur did come out. Soul Calibur 2 fighting game did come out on every console at the time. Each console had an exclusive character. Nintendo GameCube version had Link from Zelda, the one from Ocarina of Time, and you could play him and have him fight against all these other characters. I think on the Xbox, Spawn of all characters was the bonus character. Todd McFarlane's Spawn. And I think on PlayStation it was one of the Tekken characters because Tekken was an exclusive PlayStation series. But it was neat. It's a fighting game that takes place during, I think, the Age of Exploration, like the 1500s. And you can choose from one of these fighters from around the world, and it's weapons-based combat. So I think that's Talon. She might be from South America, I think. But don't quote me on that. All right. Moving on to only ever played Soul Calibur in arcade. Yeah, I think 2 came out in arcade. Maybe it didn't. Maybe that was a console exclusive. I don't know. I'm not going to include too many third-party games on here that came out on other consoles, but here I'm going to put Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time on here. I may do a whole thing on the Prince of Persia game someday, but this is my favorite game of that generation. This is an actual Ubisoft title. So keep in mind that in the best console generation, uh, the best game from the best console generation I felt was Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Do you remember the old Prince of Persia game on PC?
I do.
This Prince of Persia brings it into 3D, which normally I would balk at because it was a 2D side scroller, but they made it work, and they introduced a fascinating mechanic. By unlocking the Sands of Time, you can actually, like, you have the Dagger of Time, and if you press it, if you die, you can press the button, and it actually reverses you like 30 seconds to where you were, and you can redo, like if you did some flying leap into nowhere and you die, you can press the button and go back to where you were. Do you understand? It's like a
Wow.
rewind feature. And I know nowadays they just sort of include that in games, like especially a lot of old games, they'll put a rewind feature. But this was actually integrated into the gameplay. It was fascinating because you could redo your steps in a game that had some very tight platforming. Look at this. He's walking on a ledge and he's fighting some crow creature, okay? It's like you're going to get knocked off, but if you have the rewind feature, you can figure it out. I do remember the Prince of Persia movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal. I wish it had been better than it was. I thought that Disney was planning on that to be like their next Pirates of the Caribbean series, and I don't know why they didn't stick with the plot of the games, because the plot of the game
Because
is
they
really
never
good.
do. They never do.
But here's the problem. The guy that created the game was the guy that wrote the screenplay, so it was also his fault. It's not like they ignored the writer.
Yeah.
The writer's the one who changed it for the movie. Mario Kart Double Dash. There's always a Mario Kart game on Nintendo systems. This one has the good fortune of not costing $80 upon release. This was $50. I noticed that even when it became a player's choice title, though, it wasn't $20 like the rest of them. They would always charge $30 for it. The big gimmick this time around was that you would have 2 racers per kart. I don't believe they've ever repeated this in a racing game. If you play it 2-player, you can play it versus, or you could have one. You and your friend could also be on the same kart. So one person's in charge of driving, the other person's in charge of using the weapons, like the bananas and the turtle shells. So it almost gives off a like a great race vibe, like from that movie. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It was fun. Moving on to F-Zero. This is the last true F-Zero game we've gotten, at least on a console. Futuristic racing game. Nintendo actually had hired Sega to make this. And I think this was F-Zero GX. And what was cool about this game, at the time there was an arcade game out, also made by Sega, called F-Zero AX. And if you could actually bring your GameCube memory card in here and bring it into the arcade game and insert it and like upload stuff and download stuff from the arcade game for your console game.
Wow.
Which I don't think was ever available in North America.
What a great marketing idea, though.
Let me see. Boomer, the writer said he changed the story of the movie to the original story he wanted to make for the game, but couldn't. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I'll talk more about Prince of Persia another day. And we have Resident Evil 4. Here we go. This is still, I think this is our first over-the-shoulder shooter, I think, ever made, or at least one of them. This is Resident Evil 4. Big deal when it came out. The creator of this game said, "I will not have this ported to another console. If it is, I will cut off my own head." He said that. Before the game comes out, Capcom announces this game is coming out on PlayStation 2 later that year. Fail, Capcom. This game would have sold GameCubes, because unfortunately GameCube apparently was running either a distant third or maybe distant second, because I think Xbox fudged the numbers. But here we go. But for a while, it was GameCube exclusive. It was designed around the GameCube, and instead of zombies, you're fighting infected villagers. But I think it has more in common with John Carpenter's The Thing, where they have like parasites and things inside them. Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, moving on. Let's wrap this up soon. Not a great picture of this, but Fire Emblem came to the GameCube. I was a big fan of the Game Boy Fire Emblem games, which were these turn-based strategy games in a high fantasy setting. Nintendo actually made one for the GameCube. I was very excited. The interesting thing about Fire Emblem games is their fantasy world typically does not include other races. It's mainly humans, but a human could be a mage or a knight or something else. Do you understand?
Sure.
sort of like Game of Thrones. But this game actually did release did use another race of creatures. They were beastmen, and the beastmen could turn into creatures like a dragon or something else during gameplay. So that was kind of neat. Big fan of this game. Moving on to this is there were a lot of Mario sports titles. My favorite was Super Mario Strikers. This is the Mario soccer game where every Mario character now has a bad attitude because it's soccer. And that's Princess Daisy intimidating you, going like right in your face. There is nothing more joyous than playing Super Mario Strikers and knocking Princess Peach into an electrified fence and seeing her scream. I'm sorry, it's probably the most violent game ever made using Nintendo characters. Wow. I think a Scottish developer made this game. So anyway.
That sounds appropriate, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And then we're going to end with, of course, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. People had complained, Nintendo, you made a cartoon Zelda, make a realistic Zelda. Nintendo actually listened and made their realistic Zelda game. This was a cross-generation title with the Nintendo Wii. A lot of people played this game on the Nintendo Wii, but this also came out on the GameCube, and I picked up the GameCube version. And in the GameCube version, he is still left-handed, even though he's not showing that here. Because Link was always left-handed, but then they fixed it they changed that in the Wii version because they figured more people would hold the Wiimote in the right hand to swing the sword with. But anyway, so they had to reverse the entire game. Anyway, that's it for GameCube. What have we learned, huh? You missed out, didn't you?
Against left-handed people.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly.
Hey, I'm a lefty.
I get it.
Well, like I said, if you played the GameCube version, he still held it in his left hand. I don't know. I think people have been mad about that ever since. In fact, I wonder if he still does that in the newer Zelda games, because he used to be left-handed. It was always one of his traits. The interesting thing about Resident Evil 4 is that it made the game developers for Dead Space remake the game to use the same over-the-head viewpoint. Oh, that's interesting. It was a very revolutionary title at the time. Never played the Wii, not much. Once, you didn't miss out on much. There was Houses at Overkill and Tatsunoko versus Capcom. That was about it. I'm sorry, I'm being mean to the game, to the Nintendo Wii. The game console Grandma liked. Let's move on to it. But I figured I'd bring up the GameCube because we have another cube-shaped console to talk about later tonight. That's why I decided to do GameCube tonight.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, let's move into the news. We have... Oh, I should probably grab my notes, shouldn't I? But Tatsunoko Nakade, a Japanese film legend that starred in Ran, Hurricane, and the Human Condition trilogy, died at 92. Have you heard of this gentleman? I've heard of Ran.
Yeah.
Kurosawa, correct?
I don't remember if that was a Kurosawa film or not, but yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, sorry. Bear with me. Tatsuya Nakada, one of Japan's most celebrated stage and screen actors, who was frequent collaborators of director Masaki Kobayashi and led Akira Kurosawa's titles such as Ran, Kagemusha, and High and Low, has died. He was 92. Nakada's death was reported Tuesday in Japan by the Japan News. With more than 100 screen credits through his 7-decade spanning career, Nakada's body of work spanned a veritable who's who of Japanese cinema for the second half of the 20th century, working with filmmakers like Hiroshi Teshigahara, Mikio Naruse, and Kan Ichikawa. He was considered himself a theater actor first, and he never signed an overall contract with any Japanese studio, leaving him free to work with many different directors. One of his first major on-screen jobs was an uncredited role playing a prisoner in Kobayashi's 1953 drama The Thick-Walled Room, beginning in partnership that would soon continue through the next 3 decades and included titles such as Samurai Rebellion and Kwaidan. To Western audiences, Nakada is perhaps best known for his leading turn in Kurosawa's 1985 drama Ran, a Sengoku period war epic inspired by Shakespeare's King Lear, and that earned Kurosawa his only directing Oscar nomination. Then, just in his early 50s, Nakade played much older, wearing intense ghost-like makeup to portray a desolate, world-weary warlord. Nakade was a fixture of the Chambara genre, leading some of the most leading some of those enduring samurai films, including Kobayashi's sublimely existential Harakiri and Keiichi Okamoto's more comedic Kill. He played the grinning villain to Toshio Mifune's scowling hero twice, as a grinning gun-toting gangster in 1961's Yojimbo, and a bolder, more prideful samurai foil in 1962's Sanjiro, the latter of which ended with one of the era's most memorable bloody death scenes. Nakade had been coming off as a breakout lead in Kobayashi's The Human Condition trilogy, which the actor played a pacifist enduring Japan's turn to totalitarian rule amid World War II. These all sound great, actually.
Yeah.
I need to watch these. Holy cow, look at this. He considered himself a theater actor first, and the most acclaimed work of his later years came on stage leading productions of Death of a Salesman, Barrymore, and Don Quixote. I didn't realize that. They translated Death of a Salesman. I guess they did Death of a Salesman in Japan.
Yeah.
Dude, could you imagine a Japanese version of Glengarry Glen Ross? With
That would be,
salarymen?
you know what? Oh my gosh, that would be perfect. Oh, I would love to see that.
And if
Yeah.
they fail, they have to commit seppuku.
Well, something like
She
that.
jokes, but it may not be. But yeah, rest in peace. Check out his movies. Check out Japanese cinema. It's good stuff. I've seen some of it. I have a big Kurosawa box set, and I keep saying, one day I will watch all these Kurosawa movies. That day will have to come at some point. But yeah. All right, moving on to...
Yeah.
PS5 sales now outpace every Xbox console ever made, so the PlayStation 5 must be doing well. Hold on, I lost my spot there. Bear with me. Just yell at me, it's okay.
Ah!
All right. You know what? We got to drag this onto the desktop. All right. No, not in there. Thank you.
Are you having Apple
I'm
problems?
having boomer issues. Not Apple issues. The Apple is fine. Okay. The console wars aren't over, but they're certainly one-sided. According to Sony's latest earnings report, PlayStation 5 sales reached 84.2 million units worldwide as of September 30th, 2025, surpassing every Xbox system Microsoft has ever released. Even with price hikes, economic uncertainty, and fierce competition, Sony's juggernaut continues to roll forward. While Xbox faces the most lopsided generation gap in modern gaming history, this figure, confirmed in Sony's Q2 FY 2025 financials, places the PlayStation 5 against the Xbox 360's final official tally at 84 million units, last reported by Microsoft in 2014. That makes the PlayStation 5 one of Sony's fastest-selling consoles ever. It still doesn't measure up to the PlayStation 2, and easily the most dominant system of its generation. Xbox's quiet decline. The most telling part of the story isn't Sony's victory, it's Microsoft's silence. Xbox has stopped publicly releasing hardware sales numbers, and it hasn't for years now. Industry trackers from Aldor Intelligence via the Wall Street Journal put Xbox Series XS at 28.3 million units as of September 2024, with a report in February 2025 upping that number to 30 million. It's a staggering gap, especially when you remember that Xbox once went toe-to-toe with PlayStation during the 360 era, but that was a long time ago. Microsoft's modern strategy has pivoted away from console hardware towards subscription services like Game Pass and cloud gaming. The problem is that those services haven't replaced the cultural impact of owning a box under the TV that fans can rally around. So Sony's strategy keeps winning. While Microsoft talks about ecosystems and services, Sony keeps doing what gamers actually care about, selling great hardware and making blockbuster exclusives. Well, they're not that exclusive. Many of them are also on PC, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Victory 10 years in the making. IGN's report points out a fair caveat that Xbox 360 may have sold a few more units after Microsoft's final update before being discontinued in 2016. But even allowing for that margin, PlayStation 5 is officially ahead of every Xbox console ever produced, and it's only halfway through its lifespan. This is my thoughts on this. There's blood in the water with Microsoft Xbox right now.
I think you have a good point there, yeah.
And when there's blood in the water, another predator will show up, okay?
Oh, yes.
So let's look at the gaming landscape. Let's look at Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, like the Klingons, the Federation, and the Romulans, right?
I think that's a fair analogy, yes.
And so, who's about to show up on the scene? The Borg are about to show up.
Ah,
So
there you go.
that's how I see our first look at the Steam Machine, Valve's ambitious new game console. You know Steam. I've sent you games over Steam, so you use
Yes.
Steam.
Yes.
They're going to now make a consoleized version of Steam. Now, I believe what this means is games you have on Steam that work with this console, you're not going to have to buy everything twice.
I hope not.
Yes. By the way, that little faceplate on the front there, you can buy those or even make your own and put your own faceplate on there. That looks like a big burly man holding a balloon. Anyway. Yeah, so my opinion of this is Steam's been waiting for a time to strike, and they've chosen now because I think Xbox is basically falling out of the console race, and now they can just swoop in. Valve is about to challenge Xbox and PlayStation on their home turf. 10 years to the month after Valve's original Steam machines went on sale, the company is announcing the Steam Machine. Wait a minute, 10 years to the month after Valve's original Steam machine went on... What are they talking about? Okay. I flew to Valve's headquarters to try the company's new PC-based game console alongside a brand new Steam controller and the new Steam frame gaming headset. It's a culmination of Valve's hardware and software efforts over the past decade, and it looks like the leaks have been coming out over the past year. I've heard rumors of this for about a year now. Because the Steam Deck, that's their portable, which you can also hook up to a television, and people are thinking they've got to come out with a console version of this at some point. Shipping early 2026 in every region where the Steam Deck is sold today, Valve's new living room box is the best thought of as a far more powerful stationary version of the same technology. It's a 6-inch cube. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they were inspired by Nintendo's design. Runs Windows games, but without Windows at the helm. Like the Steam Deck, it runs Valve's Linux-based Steam OS operating system using a compatibility layer called Proton to make games think they're running on Windows and translate their API calls. Do you know what all that means?
So
Okay.
what this tells me is it basically uses an emulator to pretend to be a PC. So in other words, there's really no value to it. You may as well just use a PC.
Okay.
It's just stuff that can go wrong.
Okay.
It's an added layer that's just going to cause problems.
I'm going to keep reading because
Okay.
I am more defensive of this. Okay, if that sounds like a huge compromise, you should know that countless happy Steam Deck users disagree because they've been using this in the Steam Deck and apparently it works. Steam Deck has dramatically outsold Windows handhelds through word of mouth alone because Linux now runs Windows games better than Windows. You hear that? And because Windows is far...
It does. Yeah.
Yes. Windows is far from the Steambook's pick-up-and-play console experience. I've heard many lapsed gamers say the Steam Deck brought them back, but the Steam Machine has two things the Steam Deck does not. Raw power. So this is a lot more powerful than the Steam, the Steam portable version. Promise you'll never be waiting around for a game to update. The Steam Machine has the ability to keep all your software, your operating system, your games, and your cloud saves updated in the background, so the games are always ready for you to play, says Valve hardware engineer Yazan Al-Dihayat. While the Steam Deck is more powerful than the Nintendo Switch, it's nowhere near a PlayStation 5. Big budget games are beginning to leave it behind, and even the Nintendo Switch 2 can provide better 4K upscale TV graphics and dock mode. The Steam Machine is Valve's answer, bringing the Deck experience to your TV with far more powerful guts. Valve says it offers 6 times the power of a Steam Deck, and it looks like it'll offer at least PlayStation 5 level performance and possibly beat the PlayStation 5 Pro. Under the hood, you get not one but 2 AMD chips along with 16 gigabyte of DDR5 RAM. The CPU is a 6-core AMD Zen 4 chip with up to 30 watts of headroom and 4.8 gigahertz boost, while the graphics are a semi-custom discrete AMD RDNA3 Navi 33 GPU and 28 compute units and up to 2.4 gigahertz clock and up to 110 watt TDP and 8 gigabyte of GDDR6 memory. These are unusual components for a gaming PC, but they might work well together. While the former sounds like entry-level AMD Ryzen. Okay, all right, I don't know what that is. Right down to its 2 big cores and 4 small ones, there's no direct equivalent to that GPU. While it didn't have time for robust testing at Valve's headquarters, my first impressions were promising. On a 4K TV, the demanding Cyberpunk 2077 benchmark, average a smooth 65 frames per second at medium settings with a basic ray tracing turned on, while being upscaled to 4K from native 1080p output using AMD's FSR 3.0. So let's see here. Other things, it's going to be 2 terabytes out of the box, which is good for hard drive. And I'm sure you can add on to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this keeps going on. Why are you skeptical of this? PC Master Race person. That's as they always call on the internet. Okay.
I haven't really heard anything that says these games that I've been playing just fine on my PC, I should go out and get this additional purchase that I can't really afford right now.
So as you've said, well, yes, you don't have to buy it. I'm just saying, for those of us who like console gaming and we're looking for an alternative to what's out there, because let's face facts, I've had enough of Nintendo's nonsense with the Switch 2. PlayStation 5, I guess, is the best of the consoles out, but I wasn't really sold on that either. This looks like a great alternative. Now, my one downside of this thing, and I think it's the one downside of Steam, is that Steam is all digital. You don't buy physical Steam games. But I also think Steam does all digital better than anybody else. I think the games are also very cheap. I don't think they put as many restrictions on how many times you can download the game. You can, I guess, have it on multiple PCs at the same time, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you're already in that infrastructure anyway. But I think basically what Steam figures is, and I think they're correct, is that the Xbox audience that are angry at Microsoft will just jump on this thing. Because a lot of them have moved on to PC anyway. But they probably missed the more simplistic console experience. And you can probably even use an Xbox controller on this thing and play your games that way. So, I don't know. Okay, basically it's for... It's for Luddites like myself that don't know how to build a gaming PC, all right?
Okay.
Okay? I need something pre-made, and I need something that works like a console where I just plug it in, download the game, and my controller's ready to go, all right? And that's it. I just want to play the game.
Well,
did I ever tell you as a child, or at least in middle school, when we got the NES, and I'm like, well, how does this thing work? Wait a minute, I just plug the cartridge in, turn it on, and I'm good to go? I don't have to type in commands like DOS RAMs or load up a floppy disk or any of this. It just runs. That's what I want. You're probably shaking your head at me right now, aren't you? All right, but I think anyway though. But the idea is though, if you're already bought into the infrastructure, you already have a game library for this. Now my only problem is what's going to work on this. Is this basically just a fancy gaming PC you hook up to your TV? I heard rumors if you wanted to, you could probably install Windows on it. It's like their overlays and stuff, but I don't know. I'm hearing no cheers from you or Netter on this.
I am not the target audience for this particular product.
But you could be. Never mind. Okay, I am the target audience for this. I have no intention of buying like yourself. I don't really want to invest in another game console right now. But if I were, it might be the Steam Deck because, frankly, if the other consoles are moving everything digitally anyway, I might as well go with the people that do digital the best, and that's Steam. So,
yeah, but you could just do a PC. I'm just saying.
Oh, CluuStudio, you have no idea. We had games on cassette tapes. Remember the old cassette tape loaders? I had a game called Preppy for the Atari 800 computer, but I had to load it up with cassette. And Preppy was fun. It played like Frogger, actually. But it wasn't on a cartridge. I had to load it up from a tape. And do you think those tapes have survived?
Oh, probably not.
They've made an argument that, much like with early films that have been destroyed and lost over the years, a lot of especially old computer games have vanished.
Yeah.
Just because there was no one preserving them. But anyway, I thought this was the big story of the night. The Borg have entered the console war. That's how I look at this. Yeah. Because it's a cube. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. I dig it.
This is something that really burns me, and this is why I would go with a Steam Deck, this next article here. And Nintendo did the same thing. Sony announces cheaper PlayStation 5 that's only for Japan. During Tuesday's Japan Focus State of Play, Sony announced a new, cheaper Japanese language-only version of the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition console that will be available exclusively in Japan as likely reaction to tariffs in the United States, inflation in Japan, and Nintendo's own cheaper Japan-only Switch 2. So another country gets a cheaper version of the same console. and we get shafted as usual in the United States, and I'm just getting tired of this.
I do want to laugh a little bit at Samuel Proctor here. How does a tape have games? My Gen Z brain can't compute this. Oh, you sweet summer child.
I can't explain it to you. We had a tape deck you hooked up to the computer.
You literally had to play a segment of the tape, right? And then sometimes you'd have to fast forward to a certain point, play another section of the tape. It was pretty miserable. It wasn't the best format. It worked, but it wasn't great. And oftentimes you could just play the tape to load the game, and you didn't need the tape any longer. It was resident in memory. Those were really the best options for those particular ones.
Oh, Geek Flag Nate is saying F Sony. Can I interest you in a Steam Deck? Actually, we still don't know what the price of the Steam Deck is going to be, so that'll be the make or break. If they could sell that thing for $500,
right,
they'll kill. I don't know if it'll be that cheap though. $600 still, that might be all right.
That would actually make it competitive with PC.
That's the point. The point is, this is for people, quite frankly, who
don't have a PC and still want to play.
Who are not that who are not PC gamers, but they want to go into the Steam OS and play the Steam games like they would on a game console because they're hating Nintendo and they're hating Xbox. And
well, I can't blame them for that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Square Enix, welcome. Square Enix. This was an interesting story. This is a sea change. That's why I bring it up. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I swear, people, this wasn't supposed to be a gaming show, but it's just the more interesting stuff right now is happening in games, whereas Hollywood is still running around with like a chicken with his head cut off.
That's actually pretty apt, yes.
Square Enix undergoes mass layoffs as it reorganizes to consolidate development in Japan. Square Enix is undergoing mass layoffs today, potentially impacting over 100 individuals, alongside a broader effort to consolidate its publishing organization to focus its development work in Japan. Via public posts from former employees as well as confirmation from internal sources, IGN has learned today that employees in the United Kingdom and U.S. are being informed of layoffs today, with an unknown number of the United States employees being dismissed by the end of the week, and a possible 137 jobs at risk in the UK. Under UK law, Square Enix must undergo redundancy consultants to see if any jobs can potentially be saved, so the final number in the UK could be smaller. It's not yet clear which teams were impacted by this or to what extent. I can already tell you why this is happening.
I can too.
They're cutting the woke away. That's what's going on here. I am very angry at Square Enix over recent years.
Everybody is.
They release games over here like fancy redone versions of old 16-bit games that never even came out in the United States, and I would have gladly picked these up, except the localizations were terrible. They had localizations of games that removed gendered language in games with a medieval fantasy setting, which I thought was ridiculous, and I'm not picking that up. Little bits of censorship here of older Final Fantasy titles, which I thought we had gotten over that. No, now they're back to it because offensive. They censored the Dragon Quest female characters because I guess they showed a little bit of cleavage. We can't have that. Like, they put overlays, and I'm sick of this crap, and I know where it came from.
It's funny how the so-called liberals have now become the puritanical ones.
Yeah, and I didn't buy these games because of that. I was just, I'm done. I'm not going to spend money on this because I'm sorry. The writing has to be good in an RPG because you're going to spend a lot of your time reading in an RPG.
Right.
So it has to be good. And it's a shame that it came to this, and they need to get their act together. And I don't know if I care anymore. They're going to have to basically sell me. You're starting from scratch again, Square.
Yeah.
You used to be one of the great companies, but now you're, I don't know. Speaking of another once great company.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even like talking about Ubisoft anymore. I feel they're a dead company that's pretending that they're still alive. French video game publisher Ubisoft said on Thursday that it was postponing the publication of its half-year earnings and requested Euronext suspend trading of its shares and bonds starting Friday. The suspension will remain in place until the company publishes the delayed results in the coming days, Ubisoft said in a statement. Scheduled investor call on Thursday evening was also postponed. Chief Financial Officer Frederick Duguet said in an internal memo to employees that the suspension was requested to limit unnecessary speculation and market volatility during the short delay, as the company was taking extra time to finalize the closing of its semester. The company declined a Reuters request for additional comments. Ubisoft said in July was undertaking a sweeping reorganization into a new operating model built around business units called Creative Houses aimed at streamlining operations. In March, Ubisoft subsidiary Advantage Studios established a subsidiary Advantage Studios to manage the intellectual property of the three leading franchises: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Chinese tech giants Tencent invested 116 billion euros for a 25% stake in the entity, which remains under Ubisoft's exclusive control and co-led by Christopher Darenies and Charlie Guillemot, son of Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. Ubisoft's Paris-listed shares have fallen 49% year to date. Doomcock was talking about this on his stream.
Doesn't surprise me.
And I think you had sent me a video on this. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
So I was watching another report too, and he said one of the problems that happened with I want to say I don't even know if it's I want to use the term woke or like just the fact that they were trying to go for an international audience, that a lot of these games, whether they be Japanese or in this case of Ubisoft French, they lost their like French influence and they became too generic looking. Like their games used to have you could tell a French team made this game because it had a more of a European sensibility to it, rather than something that was made in the United States or something that was made in Japan. But excuse me, I'm losing my voice here.
Recipe for that.
What?
Yeah, she does. She's a great recipe for that.
I may try that out. Thank you, Netter. Ubisoft is suffering from the kiss of Sweet Baby Inc. It's been a disaster. They had the Assassin's Creed Shadows thing earlier this year and the Star Wars Outlaws. They were both disasters. And keep in mind, earlier on tonight, I consider the best console generation 6th generation. That's my favorite. And my favorite game of that generation was an Ubisoft title, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. And how far this company fell from grace. I used to rank them equal to Nintendo or Capcom or some of these other companies. That's how much I held them in esteem. And I don't know what happened. They have you spoken about Grace Randolph yet? Patience.
Not yet.
We're getting there. If my voice holds out. I'm sorry. I felt like I was speaking a lot of tech gobbledygook with that Steam Deck that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's cool. SNES is the best console. Yeah, you were late, obviously, because I talked about the GameCube. Oh, do you like this picture?
Yes.
It's sad.
Very appropriate. And unless I'm mistaken, it's what do you call it?
Public domain.
Public domain, right? Exactly.
This will be the next horror movie where the Mickey Mouse spits out tears of acid at people. Right?
Oh God!
I don't know. All of these slasher like kid character movies have like the same exact trailers. Have you noticed this when you watch them? Did you watch the Popeye the Sailor Man trailer?
Yeah.
I think he smashes some guy's skull with his foot and he says, "I am that I am," or something. You know what he says?
Yeah.
Disney stock falls 7% as media giant posts mixed results. A statue of Walt Disney Mickey Mouse stands in a garden in front of Cinderella's castle at the Magic Kingdom Park on May 31st. Yeah, there's a picture in this article. I'm thinking not for long.
Yeah.
Disney reported fiscal fourth quarter earnings, because you were talking about Iger earlier this week, how we don't have to look to Walt anymore, right? Or that we shouldn't we shouldn't celebrate his legacy. Is that what he was saying to the effect?
Yeah, basically. Because he's done such a great job, you know. He doesn't want you looking at the past.
Walt Disney was responsible for the first animated feature film.
Right.
He also created the modern-day theme park.
True.
What have you done? You were a weatherman.
All you've done is destroyed his legacy. something that was actually valuable is less valuable because of you, Bob Iger.
So Disney reported fiscal fourth quarter earnings on Thursday that topped analysts' expectations for earnings, but missed on the revenue as the company's entertainment business was weighed down by its TV networks and a lackluster theatrical film slate. Disney stock closed down more than 7% on Thursday. Here's what Disney reported for the period ending September 27th, compared with what Wall Street expected, according to the LSEG. Net income for the quarter was $1.44 billion, or 73 cents a share, more than double the $564 million or 25 cents per share that Disney reported in the same period a year earlier. Adjusting for one-time items, Disney reported earnings per share of $1.11. The company's overall revenue for the quarter was nearly $22.5 billion, slightly less than the same quarter last year. Disney also said it plans to boost its dividend and double its share buyback plan for fiscal 2026. Overall, we're leaving the year with a lot of momentum. Disney CFO Hugh Johnson told CNBC's Squawk Box on Thursday regarding the company's streaming and experiences businesses. Do you like that term, Squawk Box?
Yeah.
So streaming strides, linear struggles. Revenue for Disney Entertainment unit fell 6% from last year to $10.21 billion, dragged down by linear TV networks and theatrical releases. So I keep forgetting they have these linear TV networks. They have ESPN.
Right.
And I guess it's been unavailable for customers of Google's YouTube TV, a streaming provider for the paid TV bundle, since October 31st because of an ongoing carriage dispute between the two companies. Let's see. Told the Squawk Box on Thursday that Disney is still in the midst of negotiations with YouTube TV, but the company was prepared for what expected to be a challenging battle, and Disney is ready to go as long as they want to. So let me see. Advertising revenue for the networks, which include broadcast network ABC and pay TV channels like FX, also suffered. Part of this was attributable to lower political advertising, or $40 million impact compared with the same quarter last year, Disney said. The company also noted that its 2024 joint venture deal for India Hotstar impacted its linear TV network results. Streaming remained its bright spot in the business as consumers continue to turn away from the pay TV bundle. Operating income for the linear networks dropped 21% to $391 million, while it rose 39% to $352 million for streaming. I have a question. Let's say you're a company like Disney and you own cable channels, like, you have the pay cable that had the with commercials like ESPN and FX. And then you had like your public networks like ABC, and I'm assuming Fox is still owned by Disney,
yes,
or at least a portion of it. If you're pushing streaming, you get people to cut the cord, and they move over to streaming, and you make money that way. But then you lose the viewers that used to be watching your channels the other way.
Exactly.
So are you really making a profit there?
Nope.
Because it sounds like you're just telling the customers to move over to a new format.
Pretty much, yeah.
I never thought of it that way. I'm just...
This is part of the problem here, is that Disney has this tendency to be very creative with their numbers. They will say, look at what we're doing here, but what they're really doing is they're just moving the cookies around on the plate to try and make them look like there's more. I'm not even kidding about that. So they will say, look at our streaming value. Okay, that's great, but, nobody's watching on linear television anymore. It's just, it's a lot of fugazi. And I do feel like this particular earnings call kind of highlighted that. I think there's a lot of people that are not too, and we saw the sell-off after the earnings call. People saying, okay, yeah, we're done.
Okay. I know you got rid of your Disney stock a while back.
Yeah, we got rid of it after the whole Gina Carano thing, and honestly, I have not felt any impetus to buy back. For moral reasons, but also for very reasonable fiscal reasons, which are my own. I am not giving any financial advice here. You should not be listening to a rando on the internet who has no real experience with economics. Just saying. I invest my way, you invest your way. You know.
They say their parks are doing well. Resorts and cruise lines are doing well too, though. See? What do you do on a Disney cruise? I guess they have different themed cruises. Like there's a Marvel cruise you can do, right?
Right.
And like a Star Wars cruise. Well, they used to have an indoor cruise. I just realized that Star Wars hotel, they probably thought this is a lot cheaper than just having a cruise ship.
Yeah, well, that did not pay.
Okay. Anyway. Johnson said Thursday's call that demand for Disney's U.S. parks was in line with expectations that the company had earlier factored in the opening of Comcast Epic Universe in Florida this year. However, Johnson said Epic Universes seem to be impacting the rest of the competition in Florida more than it's impacting us. Okay. Anything left to say on this? To answer your question, Disney can go. Oh, okay, Jesse Gajardo.
No, he's not wrong.
Especially when it comes to responsible raising the prices on cable to the point I don't have a TV. I'm curious. I guess they were the ones. Remember how you always had these packages where the cable company would get you to have to buy the bundles, right?
Right.
Do you think Disney was responsible for a lot of that price gouging on that stuff? I kept thinking it was the cable companies. But okay. I don't think the Star Wars cruise went anywhere. No, what I was trying to explain, Lynn,
I get what you're saying there.
Okay.
It literally didn't go anywhere.
Well, I think that I was wondering if they also used to have a cruise line that was like a Star Wars themed one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that I don't know about. Yeah.
Until you get the runs for the rest of the trip. Well, that's what happen when you eat too many of those Mickey Mouse ice cream bars, right? No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's actually true. They have had problems on a lot of cruise lines with let's just say when you're confined with a bunch of people in a small space over a period of time, illness has a tendency to be shared very easily.
Dude, could you imagine? That'd be even worse than something like the Star Wars hotel where you couldn't leave it, right? And it wasn't even, you couldn't even get fresh air. And like you're in there and like someone has the flu or something, right?
Exactly.
Guess who's back, sort of.
Please, and you just gotta help me.
Yeah, we already did Who Framed Roger Rabbit for good old days because I would have.
Yeah, we did.
The GameCube, but we did that already. Good news to Toontown, as Who Censored Roger Rabbit author Gary K. Wolfe has regained full ownership of his beloved character, Roger Rabbit. Wolfe confirmed the news in an interview with I'm Not Bad, saying, I now have back the rights to all my characters, all my books. I can basically do my own Roger Rabbit projects. The Roger Rabbit rights reversion was made possible by the 35-year copyright reversion clause, which allows creators to reclaim their property after a set period. It's now been 37 years since Disney, then under its Touchstone Pictures, they released Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and although the film was a critical and box office success, a sequel never materialized after efforts to make one abandoned by the 1998's first film director, Robert Zemeckis. I didn't know he was planning a sequel.
Yeah, and as you read into the article, you're going to see probably a little bit more about this because there was some bad blood between him and Disney. Shocker, I know.
Oh, he had to fight to get it made.
Yeah, and to get certain residuals from it and so forth. So, Disney was not going to want to work with him again. Now, here's my question going into this, and I'm sure the guys over at Midnight's Edge would have a better insight on this than I would, but he may have the rights now to Roger Rabbit, but does he have the rights to make a sequel to a Disney-made Roger Rabbit film?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
It wouldn't even make sense to do it, and I'll explain why, even though it is an iconic movie.
True.
The original book, I believe from what I read, he wasn't a cartoon character, he was a comic strip character.
Right.
Like in the Sunday comics. So theoretically, could they do a Who Framed Roger Rabbit movie with other comic strip characters like Peanuts or Garfield or things like that? I don't know. I
That would
mean,
be interesting. That
I
would be
I
interesting.
I mean, I don't know whatever Roger Rabbit movie we're going to get. It's going to be a different animal than what we got in '88. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. At least if the original creators evolve and they get some talented director behind it, it might be. I mean, let me see. Here's what he said though. Any sequels that we do have to match the quality of the original movie, its production value and tone and script content and empathy and in character development has to be as good or better than what we did before. That's what the fans want, and I promise the fans that's what I'm going to give them. See, that's how somebody talks. That's how
Yeah.
you're supposed to talk. But again, this is the writer of the book, so he understands that we have to do as good, if not better, than what we did back in '88. I'd watched that movie recently this year too. It still holds up. It's a
Yeah.
brilliant movie. There's a reason why it was the blockbuster of that summer when it came out. He revealed the rights quietly reverted about a year ago, and that his focus has already shifted to new projects, which, with one of his most advanced ideas centering around Jessica Rabbit, the one that's the most prominent is a live-action Jessica Rabbit movie based on the book Jessica Rabbit, Serious Business. It was the first project that we took a look at and the first one we started developing. It's probably the one that's furthest along right now. Wolf could be revising material from Who Censored Roger Rabbit, including elements that didn't make it into the first film. A lot of people have asked why didn't we do the first movie more closely to the Who Censored Roger Rabbit book? Well, that's on the table. The author, who previously sued the Walt Disney Company for unpaid royalties, said he would love to work with them again on future projects, but if Disney had wanted to make more Roger Rabbit, they would have done so a long time ago. Let's hope there's more Roger Rabbit in the future from other interested parties. I do want to say something. Warner Brothers owns a ton of cartoon characters.
Yeah.
They own the Looney Tunes, but they also own a lot of the Tex Avery stuff. I mean, theoretically, they could probably do another Roger Rabbit just without the Disney characters. I mean, what do you think? I don't know.
I think so. Absolutely.
Or maybe make it closer to the book, which I should really read the book to see how different it was. But I don't know. I'm intrigued. I hope they get projects off the ground. I think someone's going to pick this up, right?
I hope so.
I would think
Let's see what happens.
Universal would probably want to jump on this.
Or Paramount.
Yeah, or Paramount, yeah. But I'm pretty sure you'll never get the Disney and Warner Brothers characters crossover again. That minute of Bugs and Mickey is that's it. And the minute of Daffy and Donald. Well, that's why it was unique for the time. But I think they could still do something quality. Roger Rabbit gets a sequel. It's going to have to include every Disney, Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and maybe some anime. if good down, it'd be funny if it was done in modern times, and he's up against modern cartoon characters, like if Shrek shows up or something, right? And of course, now we're getting into the plot of the Chip and Dale fiasco movie. Yeah. But Daffy versus Donald, Dueling Pianos was legendary. I love the original Roger Rabbit. We've both spoken highly of it on here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a movie Disney would never make now.
Probably.
I'm kind of surprised they made it back then. They had to fight to get that movie made. One of the rules was with Mickey Mouse, if you're going to have Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, they both had to be on screen at the same time because neither could overtake each other.
Wow, interesting.
That's the same thing with Donald and Daffy in that scene, because that was to get them in the movie. One couldn't upstage the other. Do you understand? So it's kind of like Steve McQueen and Paul Newman in Towering Inferno. But anyway, because they both had the credits on the screen at the same time. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I think they had the same amount of dialogue too. I think that was another rule of that movie. But Warner Brothers Discovery reworks David Zaslav's compensation package amid sales chatter. Amid a split of Warner Brothers Discovery and chatter it's fielding bids from would-be buyers, David Zaslav's pay package has been altered to ensure his stock options vest regardless of what happens to the company. Earlier this month, Warner Brothers Discovery and Zaslav agreed to amend his stock option agreement, originally entered in June during the period of the company was focused on spinning off the company's TV networks into a new separate entity, according to a Thursday Securities and Exchange Commission filing. The move is intended to align the exec's incentives with shareholder interests during the ongoing strategic review. The agreement clarifies that if the company pursues something called reverse spinoff by retaining Warner Brothers and spinning off Discovery Global, the transaction, as long as it's completed before the end of 2026, will be treated in the same manner as the original planned separation for the purposes of Zaslav's payout. It also widens the scope of qualifying events in a way that allows the stock options to vest if there's a change in control of Warner Brothers Discovery, though it excludes any sale of Discovery Global. The filings amid Paramount, Comcast, and Netflix preparing bids for Warner Bros. Discovery ahead of the November 20th deadline, fielding first-round offers, reported the Wall Street Journal on Thursday. If the company enters into such an agreement before December 31st, 2026, and a separation hasn't been realized, Zaslav's term will continue until at least 2030, rather than the end of 2027, as would have been the case had the separation been completed. This extension is intended to secure Mr. Zaslav's leadership for Warner Brothers Discovery for the same period that we had contracted to have him serve as the chief executive officer of Warner Brothers following a separation, the filing reads. If there's a separation, Zaslav's compensation will be modified to reduce his annual compensation and allocate a significantly greater portion of his pay to long-term incentives in order to achieve stronger pay for performance alignment, according to the document. And apparently Bruce Campbell is hired as a strategic officer at this company.
Really?
His name is Bruce Campbell. I thought it'd be funny if it actually was Bruce Campbell. No, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this? The impression I get from this is they want to sell by the end of the year, but they have to have a backup plan in case that doesn't happen, right?
Right.
And this is so Zaslav can still get a sweet payday, right?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Okay. I don't...
So that means let's get this thing done.
What are they trying to sell, though? Are they trying to sell the Discovery side of things or the Warner Brothers side of things?
I thought they were trying to sell it as a package deal.
Okay. Oh, to make it seem more valuable. To make it seem more valuable. You're not getting one company, you're getting two. Okay, well that makes more sense because I kept thinking, are they going to sell one to one company? I can't make heads nor tails of this anymore. I just know that everybody seems to want Warner Brothers, but they're not paying enough for it. I guess it's worth the money. I mean, whoever buys this could theoretically do that Roger Rabbit movie and just have all the Looney Tunes in it again, right?
Right.
I want to see that in a Jessica Rabbit sequel, though. I feel like doing a good old days on Roger Rabbit again. I'm sorry. I missed that movie. We could have had sequels, but maybe it's just, well, we didn't. 600 Paramount Skydance employees quit instead of returning to the office, and it costs the company $185 million filing show. That's a large chunk of change.
Yep.
Hundreds of Paramount Skydance employees decided they'd rather find a new workplace than go back to the office 5 days a week. In September, following the law-installed $8 billion merger of the two media juggernauts, CEO David Ellison told employees in a company-wide email that they would be required to return to working in person 5 days a week or take a buyout of a series of efficiency changes to unlock Paramount's full potential, according to the memo. As I said during our town hall, some of our most formative moments of my life happened in the rooms where I was a fly on the wall, listening and learning. I've never seen that happen on Zoom, Ellison said in the letter. Come now, the Zoom meeting was the great contribution to society of Generation X. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That was a joke I heard somewhere. Never mind. Okay. About 600 employees in the company's Los Angeles and New York offices at the vice presidential level and below took the buyout, according to the company disclosures filed Monday, and the severance packages set Paramount back $185 million. The filings cited restructuring costs associated with actions to align business around our strategic priorities. According to a shareholder letter released Monday ahead of the company's earnings presentation, Paramount expects to incur $1.7 billion in restructuring expenses. Question for you. Do you think these people quit because they thought they were going to be let go?
Oh, that's a possibility. I think the other possibility is they had structured their lives around working from home.
Okay.
And are not in a position where they can change path.
They could be living in another state. Okay, yes.
They could be living in another state. They could be in a situation where They don't have child care
Yeah.
or something like that.
Okay. So, okay. So I guess good on them. Or they got they took the money and ran. 600. What's 600 into 185 million?
No idea. No idea.
I don't know. I don't know if everyone got the same pay package. All right, but moving on to let's see here. Grace Randolph. Yeah, yes, we are. Everyone's been waiting for this story.
We're getting there. Yeah.
I never thought I would be in a position where I'm now defending Brie Larson.
I think I said in the description. I think I said something. Let me see. Let me see what I say. And Grace Randolph forces us to defend Brie Larson, for crying out loud.
Well,
you know,
it's bizarre to me because I look at Brie Larson lately, and she's doing all the things apparently we say celebrities should do. Correct?
Yes.
Like, she's not running her mouth off. She's actually being nice to the fans at these. She did a video recently where she was at a convention, and of course she's still plugging all the stuff she's done, including Captain Marvel, but she's not being snide. She's being respectful of the fans, and she's happy to be there. So, I mean, I can't pick on her for that now, can I? Right? So, moving on to this, though. Give me a moment. Okay. This is from Geeks and Gamers. Entertainment commentator Grace Randolph sparked widespread online discussion this week after questioning Brie Larson's casting as Rosalina in the Nintendo and Illumination's upcoming Super Mario Galaxy movie. Geeks and Gamers covered this controversy on YouTube. The video can be viewed on YouTube. Okay, the early reaction to the announcement has drawn significant attention across social media, where fans and industry watchers noted the unusually sharp tone from Randolph, a figure who typically supports major Hollywood talent. Her comments quickly prompted debate about whether Larson's involvement might influence audience reception for the sequel. Randolph's reaction began with a direct statement shared on November. Randolph wrote, "If anything can tank the new Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's Brie Larson." The post rapidly drew views, generating more than 2.9 million impressions within hours, and immediately igniting speculation about why Randolph reacted so forcefully to the casting. In a follow-up thread, Randolph expanded on her concerns and pushed back against the idea that discussing Larson's previous controversy should be off limits. She stated, "Hate channels are a scourge on entertainment and the industry, but this idea that we therefore can't say anything negative when there's plenty of evidence to back it up is insane." Her explanation centered around on the history of the media coverage surrounding Larson during the Captain Marvel promotion cycle and later during the rollout of the Marvels. While Randolph noted that the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Sequel is still positioned for commercial success, she suggested that Larson's previous press tour comments could potentially distract from the film's marketing. Will Super Mario 2 be a huge success? Almost certainly, Randolph said, but Brie Larson has a history of making comments on press tours, etc., that are not helpful and turn off audiences. Randolph referred to Larson's creative involvement in Marvel Studios' recent sequel writing. "She was also a big part of reimagining The Marvels, a film which I gave a good review, but that sequel ruined a billion-dollar character." I don't understand what she's saying here.
Okay.
So she's saying it's a good movie, but it ruined a character. I don't understand that. Because it did badly at the box office? Is that what she's referring to? I mean...
She finds herself in the very unique position of having to deal with reality. Okay? She has a tendency to have bad takes on things and then have to walk them back when reality, kind of slaps her in the head. But in this case, she's kind of correct about what she's saying about Brie Larson. Brie Larson has done all the things she just said. She said stupid things. She is personally responsible for her. Although her Captain Marvel movie technically did very well, she can't take credit for that. It did well in spite of her, not because of her. It did well because people, were still in the hype of, I gotta see them all before I go see the next Avengers.
It was sandwiched between the two Avengers movies that were going to wrap up the Thanos, the Infinity.
As soon as they saw Endgame and saw that she had almost nothing to do with it, And she was downplayed because of the stupid things she said and the bad PR she had brought upon herself. She was sidelined, and honestly, nothing that she has done with Marvel since has been successful. She's very much reviled by the fans. I think we gotta admit that. She did a lot of stupid, and it hurt her very, very badly. So she's reaped the repercussions of this. Now, I talked about this in a Liquid Lunch last week, and I said, we got to be honest. I don't know if she figured it out herself or some publicist grabbed her by the ears and said, you need to shut up. You need to get your crap together, and, otherwise your career is finished.
Yeah. Let's see. Brie figured out that being an asshat and quit being ass and people not hate you is trying to get clickbait with romance and predator and synth. Grace is weird. Here's what I'm going to say about what I think. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I only said anything about Brie Larson just now, and in fact, again, ironically, it's a little bit defensive of her. I think she is on a redemption tour. She's trying to clean up her act, because if she doesn't, her career is, as I said, over. Grace Randolph, on the other hand, you can almost assume if she says it, it's probably wrong. Okay? You make a safe bet if you go on that premise. Okay? And Grace Randolph is not seeing the forest for the trees on this. I think everybody loves this is still true, everybody. People still love a redemption arc.
Yes.
We're a sucker for it.
Yes.
We also are so sick and tired of all the negativity that we really do want to just, okay, can we stop with all this? Can we just, find a way to get along again?
Can we all be civil?
Can we go back to making decent movies? And honestly, if she's going to do that, then more power to her,
So, something else about Brie Larson, which obviously Grace Randolph didn't bother researching or doing anything. She was a Nintendo spokesperson.
I didn't realize this.
She used to do commercials for Nintendo. It might have been during the pandemic or a little after. She was doing stuff on Animal Crossing and stuff. So she already had a relationship with Nintendo. It's also very clearly that she may know that Nintendo has certain expectations for people that work for them. And because if you don't, you get let go. Yes.
That was the other thing that I was going to say. Someone at Nintendo probably said, okay, we're going to do this thing, but we're not Disney. We're not putting up with that BS.
Yeah. But I don't know. Believe it or not, I don't like hating on celebrities, but I do call them out on here. I do call them out here. And frankly, Brie Larson just wants to move on from Marvel and do other things and probably go back to doing her Academy Award bait. That's what she used to do before she started doing these franchise things. But I don't think she's going to ruin the Mario movie, and I don't think she's going to open up her mouth on tour. And the original Mario movie survived Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen didn't even ruin that movie, so it's
right. And the other thing that I said earlier this week was that this is probably the best way for her to reintroduce herself to audiences. It's a voice role, so most people aren't even going to recognize that is Brie Larson.
I wouldn't have recognized it either because she sounds like just typical cartoon actress lady.
Female person, yes.
Because
she sounds like female person, yes.
Yes. Except Seth Rogen sounds like Seth Rogen. That's the weird thing. Like, the weird thing of the other actors, even Chris Pratt doesn't necessarily sound like Chris Pratt in that because he has like a Brooklyn accent. And the guy who played Toad, what's his name? Keenan something. He didn't even sound like him. He's a good voice actor, but so I don't know. I'm sure this movie is going to be fine. It's going to be good for the family. You could take your family, your kids to see a production that I would hope that Disney has learned that lesson too about toning down certain things in their children's movies.
Well, she probably at this point actually does care what a 40-year-old white dude has to say about this movie, because they're the ones that take their kids to see it. Just saying. Saying.
I can forgive someone for saying something stupid. We've all said something stupid in our lives, and she's older now too. She's not in her 20s anymore.
And that's
Maybe
what I'm
she's
saying.
matured a
She
bit.
needs to,
Yes.
if she really is realizing, I do want to be able to work again. And she's realizing, this was not very good self-marketing. I mean, it was a hard lesson. That really got to her.
Yeah.
And I think if she's paid attention to what people have said, she knows everything she needs to know to redeem herself. It's like, it's not enough for me to not piss off people, but when I do, don't get a cocky attitude. Are you going to be in the next movie? Does anyone want me to do it? I don't know. Everyone looked at her and was like, you're dumb. You're just, no.
That was
we don't want you to do it. If we did want you to do it, we want you to do it even less now.
She was having a bad day or a bad moment, but she needed to actually to walk away.
Well, because that's what you do when you're professional. And that's why,
if you can't give a good answer, just walk away.
People
I'm
keep
sorry,
talking about Sydney Sweeney and everyone else that doesn't take the bait. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about such and such. I will talk about that when I feel like talking about it. It's like, okay, you just shut them down,
So, yeah, but I don't know. Grace Randolph, she just has bad takes. I don't.
She really does.
And then she goes, just okay. But Rachel Zegler was what Brie Larson was in 2018. Yeah, kind of. I think Zegler's even worse because Zegler, I felt, kept doubling down.
She did.
When she said, I mean, I'll say this for Brie Larson. I don't know that she said anything anything is bad. Maybe she did, but I hope.
Well, she didn't say anything anti-Semitic. She didn't. She didn't take a stand on probably the most contested world events. I mean, Zegler kind of stands head and shoulders in stupid above Brie Larson. Let's be honest.
I'm a second chances guy, despite Hollywood trying to talk me out of it. Let's see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. I mean, she could still, in a couple months, do something really dumb on the press tour. We don't know, but I'm willing to. I'll put it as I'm willing to leave her alone. Okay, that's what I'm willing to do right now. There, so there we go.
I am not gonna. Yeah. Let's put it this way: I'm not gonna boycott this cartoon over her voice acting.
No, yeah, I mean, if I could deal with Seth Rogen, I could deal with Brie Larson.
Right.
I mean, yes. What to know about the BBC's latest crisis after its apology to Trump? This is so bad.
My take on this is going to be not very popular.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious. You and I may be different then. Okay, let's see. The BBC has issued a public apology to U.S. President Donald Trump over a misleading edit of his speech on January 6, 2021, but said it strongly disagreed there is a basis for a defamation claim. Since it was established more than a century ago, Britain's public broadcaster has been no stranger to controversy. Over the past week, it has been embroiled in one of the deepest ever crisis as its director general stepped down, its head of news quit, questions were raised about the veracity of its journalism, and Trump said he was mulling a $1 billion lawsuit. Here's what we know. Pressure on the broadcaster has been growing since the right-leaning Daily Telegraph newspaper published parts of a dossier compiled by the BBC's advisor on standards and guidelines on November 3rd, as well as criticizing the BBC's coverage of transgender issues and raising concerns of anti-Israel bias in the BBC's Arabic service. The dossier said that an edition of the BBC's flagship current affairs series, Panorama, titled Trump a Second Chance, broadcast days before the 2024 U.S. presidential election, was misleading. Specifically, it showed how third-party production company that made the film spliced together 3 quotes from 2 sections of the January 6, 2021 speech into what appeared to be one quote in which Trump urged supporters to march with him and quote-unquote fight like hell. By doing so, it made it look like Trump was giving the green light to his supporters to storm the U.S. Capitol as Congress was poised to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election that Trump falsely alleged was stolen from him. the outcry from opponents of the BBC, and there are many both in the UK and abroad, was immediate and voracious. The broadcaster, which is funded by an annual license fee of £174.50, paid by all UK households who watch live TV on any BBC content, was accused of bias against Trump, symptomatic of, they say, an inherent liberal bias within the organization. For days, the BBC said very little, saying it did not report on leaked reports. Many thought it was just a misjudgment, as it allowed the narrative around the edit to be led by its opponents. By November 9th, the pressure on the BBC was becoming increasingly acute, prompting its top executive, Tim Dave, and head of news, Deborah Turnus, to resign over what the broadcaster called an error of judgment. It was also revealed that Trump was demanding a retraction, apology, and compensation of the sequence. I guess I have to, Trump said when asked about whether he would go through with the legal threat, because I think they defrauded the public and that they've admitted it. Trump had set a deadline for a Friday, November 14th, for the BBC to respond to his challenge. While the BBC said earlier in the week that the edited portion of the program was an error in judgment, it did not apologize to Trump directly until Thursday morning. In a statement, it said its chair, Samir Shah, had personally sent a letter via a letter from its chair over the misleading edit, but said it had not defamed him. All right. While the BBC statement doesn't respond to Trump's demand that he be compensated for overwhelming financial reputational harm, the headline on its news story about the apology said it refused to pay compensation. The U.S. president has yet to respond to BBC's apology and its rejection of his demands for compensation. All right. So what do you think?
So I think I've done a little bit of digging into law here, and I think he's got no case. If this had been broadcast in the United States, he might have a case, but it wasn't. It was broadcast on a very specific platform in the UK to only BBC licensors. He doesn't really have a case.
Oh, right, about whether it affected election results. Yes,
Exactly.
I understand that point of view. What I'm bothered about this is that, I'm sorry, you're journalists, you're the BBC, which I thought had a greater version of it. I mean, what do I know? I mean, maybe
no.
It probably doesn't. But they're supposed to be impartial, and you don't rig footage to make something that look like that's not there.
I agree with you 100% on that aspect of it. It's wrong. I'm just saying I don't think he has a legal case.
I don't necessarily think he does either.
And if he tries to pursue it, it's foolish, and he's taking bad legal advice.
Just leave it alone. In fact, if the people involved got fired or stepped down, just leave it at that. But
he could actually find greater satisfaction just doing what he does and calling them out on it and saying, well, this is what happens, when you have, a bunch of propagandists, blah, 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 whatever, make snide comments like you do.
But here's the thing, even if you do have your own politics, you can't, this is just deliberately lying about a situation, and that's my problem. But yeah,
and the fact is that most of the British populace know this. They're aware of this, and it's a problem they're going to have to deal with themselves. They've already removed the requirement that they have to pay for their license.
How often do they have to pay that license? By the way,
I think that's an annual thing. I'm not sure.
That's a little pricey.
Do we have any Brits in the audience that could tell us?
Yeah. If there's anybody here who could tell us how those British licenses work.
What was that? 172? That's more than dollars, right? I mean, that pounds are more than dollars, right? I mean,
I don't know what the current exchange rate is.
That seems like a chunk of change for what it was sounding, and I especially for programming that is frankly horribly biased like this. I mean,
I certainly wouldn't want to pay for it if I had a choice in the matter.
I mean, find stuff. If you don't like him, find stuff on Trump that you don't like, and like legitimate stuff, legitimate criticism. Don't make stuff up.
that's the thing that's the thing about the media, right? If you're going to speak out against something, speak out against the truth. You shouldn't have to make up stuff to denigrate. If he's as bad as you say he is, just report the truth. You know?
No,
You
they
shouldn't
said
have to warp his words to make them bad.
I got you.
But yeah, he doesn't have a case here, and I think he's kind of nuts if he decides to pursue this. But then again, there's a lot of things he's doing that I think he's kind of nuts on because he's not taking the right advice, let's say.
The best advice. Well, I would let it go regardless, but
Yeah.
1 pound equals $1.31. Okay. Well, there you go. I heard it's still very
comparable.
expensive to buy food over there.
Very expensive to buy food over here. We just went shopping today.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are. I guess this is our final story of the night. Are any Billy Idol fans in the room?
I'm becoming more of a Billy Idol fan all the time, actually.
He's funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
So let's see. Billy Idol shares new song Dying to Live for upcoming doc Billy Idol Should Be Dead. Billy Idol released new original song Dying to Live with collaborator J. Ralph on Friday, a track attached to the rock star's upcoming documentary, Billy Idol Should Be Dead. Idol Reporter dropped a video for the song as well, which the Hollywood Reporter is sharing exclusively first. The video, which is also the documentary's final sequence, depicts shots of Idol's life from childhood intersped with his music career and vintage illustrations of the singer. Those scenes are met well with Idol's warm vocal delivery alongside the swelling strings and light piano lines. Idol and J. Ralph co-wrote the song alongside Idol's collaborators Steve Stevens, Tommy English, and Joe Janiak. They hope the song will be a contender for a Best Original Song nod in this year's Oscar race. Billy Idol Should Be Dead premiered at Tribeca Film Festival this past summer and is expected to hit streaming sometime in early 2026. It's quite something watching a documentary about your own life, Idol said in a statement Friday. Seeing the landscape of my story all laid out inspired me to write a song for the end of the film that brings together what I saw in the film, all the strands of my life, really. It was thrilling to work with J. Ralph. Symphonic music has a unique cinematic authenticity. We felt this was essential to capturing the range of emotions the climactic moment of the film called for. As Ralph adds, the vision was to create a cinematic finale for the film, built around visuals and thematic orchestral feasts featuring Billy's voice and a string quartet composing the song inside the sonic universe, reveals every nuance and vulnerability of his vocals and lyrics in a way that had not yet been expressed in his previous work. He was totally up for it and brought the same rebellious spirit and fearless energy that defines his life at the very essence of punk rock. The doc comes amidst a busy time for Idol. Back in April, the rock icon released Dream Into It, his first album in 11 years. He is also currently on the road for its It's a Nice Day to Tour Again tour. I went to that.
Yes, you did.
And is slated to perform in Buenos Aires this weekend. Speaking with THR ahead of the album's release, Idol opened up about his aspirations for a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, as well as his complicated relationship with his rock and roll life. It's a shame that sometimes by doing what you've got to do, you hurt the people you love, Idol said in April. But if you don't do it, you're going to let them down because they won't know the real you. This rock and roll career gave me enough money to help my children bring up their children, my 4 grandchildren. My dad was incredible, really killer at being the head of a family. I never imagined I'd be able to do the same as him, but funnily enough, at this stage of my life, rock and roll has given me the ability to be that guy. Well, good for you, Billy, and I will look for this documentary, and I'll look for your new album, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still can get on the stage and wail. He's in good shape for his age, I'll say that.
Agreed.
Billy Idol never took himself seriously. He never talked down to and hung onto his fan base. Plus, he never needed the cash. I think he's like a Duke or Earl or something or other. I didn't know that.
Oh, does he have some sort of lineage or something?
Yeah. I don't know.
Cool.
This I don't know. I do not know that. All right. Always Billy Idol. Okay. I guess that wraps it up.
It sure does. Gonna be if you are over here on my channel
And mine.
or on Netter's channel, we are going to chauffeur you on over to Deleted Scenes channel for his evening show. If you actually deleted, if you want to go ahead and drop the link, if you are here on Age of Boomers channel, you're going to have to kind of come over with us. Click on the link.
It's fine. Just click on the link, but
Yeah.
it'll be a good time. It's what is it again? Reserve seats?
No.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry,
I believe it's he's doing a book talk.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry about that. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Tom someone or other. I forget. Tom someone or other. I forget.
Tom Sawyer.
No, not. I would remember that one. If for no other reason, I had a cousin named Tom Sawyer. I'm not kidding.
Tom Holland, My Life in Tights. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
funny.
But
That is
that wraps it up this week. And let me see. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips says hi, Curtis. Hello, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. And I guess this wraps us up. But tomorrow night we have a special event.
special Life Day presentation, the Star Wars Holiday Special. I'll be getting that stream up very shortly, and I hope you can join us.
And where festivities will be held, you will see Wookiees doing
Celebrating
the
Life Day, presenting their glowing Life Day orbs and marching off into a lit tunnel or something. I don't know. Carrie Fisher will sing. B.
and
Arthur
never sing again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. B. Arthur will pour a drink into Harvey Korman's head. It's a trip. It's a real trip.
Was B. Arthur on Golden Girls, as I recall?
Yes, she was.
Yes,
she
okay.
was. Yeah.
And there'll be evil Imperial soldiers.
Yeah.
I hate the Empire, and they tear up the kid's doll, plush doll,
Yeah.
right? Of the
They tear up the little bantha. Yeah.
I know, man.
Again, an item that they should have marketed and did not. That kind of annoys me.
Where is the holiday special at? Well, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. If you join us on Troy's stream tomorrow, you will have a special link that you can click on to a certain cut of this movie.
I will share some links to some various versions of it, but I am going to.
I think one is still on YouTube. The original cut is still on YouTube too, isn't it?
There's an upscaled version on YouTube.
Oh wow, okay.
So there's more than one version of the original uncut, unedited version. There's a couple of other what do you call them? Fan edits of it, trying to improve it. But I am going to be playing what I consider to be the best fan edit of it and upscale, called the Thank the Maker edit. It actually is very, very funny. And Deleted Scenes drops the link to where Netter and I are going to send you if you're on our channels. If you're on Age of Boomers, make sure you click on that as we end.
Yes.
Also, make sure you subscribe to Aged Boomer. We need every single one of you to subscribe to Aged Boomer. Let's get him to that magic number of 500 subscribers.
We need 136 more.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Hopefully we'll get there by the end of the year.
And if you are already subscribed, then by golly, share out the stream. Get your friends to subscribe to Aged Boomer, okay? Hashtag together we grow.
That or I'm going to have to start making ASMR videos. I'm kidding.
You could do that.
Maybe I'll do that. I'll do different Pop Rocks ASMR videos. This is what the green sour apple sounds like. Wow. And then you just do that to Mike for 5 minutes.
Does it sound any different than the grape? Let's see.
I think it does. I think there's a quality difference, yes.
Okay.
And there's the cotton candy flavored, yes. All right, so that'll bring us to I guess Tuesday.
Tuesday
Sherlock Holmes.
at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, The Dancing Men.
Okay, well, it's good to dance. Are they like in lederhosen and slapping each other on the stage? That sort
No,
of thing. Okay,
no,
all right.
yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
and then what about Thursday things? Anything going on this Thursday, Netter?
My guest had to cancel
Oh,
family stuff, so it's going to be me and Troy talking with all of you.
yep, yep.
well, you could talk about Thanksgiving stuff. Maybe we're getting close to the holiday.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about doing something like what we did last year. We're still talking about it, but if y'all remember last year, what we did is we started kind of like 9-ish in the morning and was showing Thanksgiving films all day.
Yeah.
We may do something like that again. We're still discussing the logistics of it.
Yep.
Cool. And then that brings us to Friday, which will
Yeah,
be
you want to tell everybody what we
We're gonna
told them
Troy.
earlier?
Troy and I will be discussing our top 10 moments of science fiction in the 1970s. Now, this could be a wide range of things. Could be movies, could be TV, could be toys. We don't know, but it will. We do know, but you don't know. But it'll be the it'll be the we're gonna be it's gonna be a bit of a time travel thing because we're gonna talk about what it was like to be a sci-fi fan in the 70s. I guess, right? If you think about it.
Exactly. I'm going to. We're going. The idea being that we're going to be talking about our favorite sci-fi moments, even though
Yes.
we're going to be listing off a number of movies. I think each of those movies has a great moment that's worth talking about.
Yeah, and that's cool. And that'll be this Friday. And then Saturday, are you going to be on any channels, or is it going to be yours?
This Saturday is, let's see,
Gonna be
Big
Big
Al
Al.
presents for Films with Friends. I'm drawing a blank on what movie it was, though.
It's
Does
going to
anyone
be
remember?
big. One day it should be big.
It's going to be fun, whatever it is.
Because
It's
big.
always fun.
Okay. Anyway. All right, and that wraps it up, and then it'll bring us right around to next Sunday. Be sure to check out Deleted Scenes channel. He's got stuff going on during the week as well, and also Unscripted, which goes on before Geeky Geezers. And, of course, you have your liquid lunch during weekdays, too, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Absolutely. Every noontime Central during the week. Hope you can join me. It's a different topic every day.
Have you picked one for tomorrow yet?
Monday musings. I don't know. I usually decide in the morning whatever's on my mind. If something stands out to me, something that I'm thinking about, just whatever. So
It's about not being able to see Poe Dameron in a Star Wars movie again.
Oh, gee.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
I know you don't care. Yes, okay. All right. You realize that we're coming up on 10 years of Force Awakens.
It's been 10 years. Jeez.
Yep.
God. That's
10 years. Yeah.
That's yeah.
All right.
Don't care. I will not be celebrating any kind of celebration over it.
Oh, wait.
I'll
what is the
celebrate when Lucasfilm is either sold from Disney or Kathleen Kennedy retires or Bob Iger is kicked out and someone else takes over. I don't know, something.
Whatever it is, the movie will be. It'll be fun because we'll be hanging out with all of you. Yes.
That is right, Nate. Thank you so
That's
much.
right.
All right.
All right.
Have a great one, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.